don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. Hi everyone, it's Mike here and welcome back to our YouTube channel. So it's the 5th of December, which means it's the first Saturday in a brand new month, which means it's time for a brand new art challenge over on our Mission Inspiration Facebook group. I'll put the link on screen now, but there's also a clickable link in the description area below if you want to pop across to Facebook and join in all the fun that we have during the month in our Facebook group, all those art challenges that we do. So, without further ado, I'll turn over to my overhead camera and show you what the challenge is set by our friend Linda for December. Okay, so this is the Mission Inspiration prompt card for December 2020, as set by Linda. So as you can see, the theme for the month is Winter Wonderland. Our colour combination for the month is Frosty Blue, Winter Purple and Silver Bells. And our words for inspiration are trees, bells, frost, snow and stars. So plenty to go at for this month. So once again, I will be creating a 9-inch circle page for my circle journal for the month, the last one for the year. So that's all crammed in with all of those, including my prompt sheets for the year. So this will be the last one, the last main mission for 2020. So as I said, a 12-inch, a 9-inch circle cut from mixed media cardstock. Now the one that I use is a Daler Rowney. It's £169 and it's 250 GSM. So this is the smaller pad. I've also got a rather larger version of that. Which is the one that I cut my 9-inch circles out of. So I now need to go away and find the colours that I want to use for this page. So I've chosen my colours from my paint collection. I've pulled out some white gesso to use just on the base. So from my Americana, or the Deco Art Americana range, I've pulled out my slate grey for my silver bells. I've also got some morning mist, which is a kind of heathery kind of lavender, very, very pale grey with a hint of purple in there. But from my Dina Wakley collection, I've pulled out sky, which is going to be my frosty blue. I've also got what's left of my elephant, which I probably will just use up, so that's the grey colour as well. But for the winter purple colours, I've pulled out all three of the shades from the Dina Wakley set, which is fuchsia, blackberry and eggplant, because I'm not really sure which one I want to use. Now, those of you that have been following me for a while now will know that my least favourite colour out of all of them is purple. Yeah. So I'm probably going to add, well, I will add some purple into this, obviously, because I have to. It's part of the colour combination for the month, but it will be probably minimal. And I may mix it with other colours as well, just to kind of vary the shades. So I probably will go with that more purpley purple, which is the blackberry. So I might end up just popping those other two colours away and not using them at all. So to start off with then, I'm just going to shake up my white gesso. Hopefully I've got some left in here and it's not completely all empty. No, there is still some white gesso left in the bottom of there. And I'm just going to go over the entire of the page with that white gesso. It is starting to dry up a little bit. I've had it for that long. Go right the way over. I might just need to revitalise this by adding a little tad of water. Just a little bit. Yeah, that's a bit better. That's it, it's flowing a bit better now. Haven't used the white gesso in quite a while. I've been using clear instead of white. But as we're coming up to the end of the year, it's time to use up those last few kind of like remnants of paints that you've got in your collection, where you've got maybe just a little bit left in the bottom. Time to use up, ready for maybe using or replacing in the new year. Well, it is for me anyway. You might want to hang on to them. Okay, so that's given the page a decent coating of that white gesso. That just goes to show that lid's not been screwed on properly. But hey ho. Right, I need to get this dried off and then I'll be back. Okay, so my white gesso is now completely dry. So rather than put the paint on with a brush this time, I'm going to be using a wet wipe, a baby wipe. So I'm going to start off with my frosty blue. So I'm going to add a little bit onto my desktop here, just onto this craft mat, and then using the baby wipe, I'm just going to ball that up, pick some of that paint up, and then I'm going to start applying the paint over the page. And then I'll just pick up extra bits and then work my way to the edges and down the page. And then just fade it out just about halfway. Okay, so I'm going to turn that round, grab a clean wet wipe, and this time I'm going to take the blackberry. Do the same thing again, put a little dollop onto my craft mat, and then with a clean wet wipe, pick that up and then start applying that, and then I'm going to bring it over to the blue and then just gradually kind of fade it out. Just like that. And then I can just quickly remove the excess with what's left on that wet wipe. Clean and tidy as you go. There we go. Okay, so just want to see if I can blend out a little bit more of that blue. So I've kept the wet wipe with the blue on. I'm just going to see if I can create a little bit more of a blend or a fade between those two colours. I think that'll do. Okay, so let's get that dried. So the paint in the background is now dry, and I like the way you can still see the kind of swipe marks that I've got in with that baby wipe. Kind of adds a little bit more texture into that background. So I've now got a piece of cardstock that I've just torn roughly on the bottom, which I'm going to place around about here on the bottom of my circle. And I'm going to be bringing in that slate grey paint, which is the darker of the ones that I chose out of my collection. Add a little bit onto my craft mat and then get a sponge. This is just a cosmetic sponge that I picked up from our local store that normally kind of sells cosmetics and deodorants and that kind of thing very, very cheaply. And then I'm going to go over just with that grey. Our first layer lifted up, and we've got a kind of broken background. So I just want to quickly dry that off. Okay, looking at it, I'm thinking to myself I probably should have started a little bit higher up. So I'm probably just going to adjust that now, just move it along a little bit, add some more of that grey. There we go, because we're probably going to use a fair bit now. Pick some up with the sponge and start working my way across. And then when I get to the point where we've got the edge of the paper here, I'm just going to lift it up and then create a continuation. And then I can always move it back again if I just want to darken it up, which is about there. Okay, so now that we've got that darker line, I can then come down again a bit further and just lay it down, and then using one of the lighter colours. Oh, I didn't shake that up, did I? So all I've got is complete binder in that now. Ugh. Rubbish. Always forget. Okay, there we go, that's more like it. They're just using the same sponge. I'm just going to start mixing up the colours a little bit. Start adding in another layer. And then lift that up. And then continue along. And then where I've got a few gaps, it's just going to be a gradual kind of build up of colours to create a kind of landscape. And then let's pick up a little bit of that darker colour again. And then just keep working your way across, kind of mixing your colours up a little bit. Or I'm going to mix my colours up a little bit, you don't have to. Don't have to follow what I'm doing. And then what I'm going to do is just grab some white, probably from that gesso. There we go. And then mix that in so we've got a lighter grey colour. Should do. And then maybe just go in very, very lightly blending in where we've been, just giving that kind of impression. Maybe there's a little bit of mist or snow on those hills in the background. Right, let's see if we can find where this was. About there, wasn't it? And then we can bring that pretty much down to the bottom, just mixing in those colours. Until you're happy, or until I'm just going to keep on going until I'm happy anyway. Boom, 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 boom. I'm trying to remember where I used that one. About there, wasn't it? There we go. Not perfect, but doesn't have to be, as I keep saying. It only needs to be as perfect as you want it. I'm certainly not going to beat myself up over it. There we go. I think I'm happy with that. So put that to one side, get this lot tidied up and cleared up, get that dried off, and then I'll be back. Okay, so that paint's had enough time to dry. I'm just having a surreptitious slurp of my coffee there. So I want to kind of break up the top part a little bit. So to do that, I've just brought in the Dina Wakley acrylic in buff. I'm hoping it's not too bright. And you can see that. Add some of that onto the craft mat. And I have a piece of natural sponge, which is what I like to use to kind of create some wispy kind of cloud effects in that background. And I'm just going to add a little bit of that into the background, just to kind of break up that colour a little bit. Probably need a lot more. There we go. I'm using buff rather than white because it's off-white and I don't want it to be too stark. I'm just working the paint into the sponge first, and then just dabbing around just to kind of get that broken kind of sky look. And again, it's not meant to be photorealistic, just give you the impression that the sky's broken up a little bit. And that there's something else going on rather than just what you can see. There we go. And that's also just breaking up that purple a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that as the start of my background. And then just get that cleaned off, dried up, and then I'll join you again for the next bit. Okay, so I'm taking some more of that blackberry paint. I'm going to put a dollop to my craft mat. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of water, just make sure that my brush is a little bit moist. Don't want a dry brush. And then I've got this kind of thin, fine detail brush. What I want to do is just kind of use it just to kind of draw a couple of lines up. A little bit thicker in the foreground. Maybe smaller in the background. Just drag that up. That should do. That will give me what I want. And then I'm going to bring in my fan brush. And I'm going to do a little bit of a homage to Bob Ross, I think. So using the fan brush, I'm going to start to build up some kind of tree shapes. That one in the background there's kind of disappeared a bit. That's okay. Perhaps I need just a little bit more paint. Maybe just a little bit too watery to do what I want. Okay. Start with the smaller one here. And as we go up towards the top, just kind of twist it a little bit. There we go. Just to kind of create that impression of a tree. Okay. So let me just get that dried off. Trees are now dry, so I've added some more of that buff paint just here, and I've also added just a little bit of that morning mist as well, just there. So I've got my cleaned off fan brush. It says mostly cleaned off anyway, but enough. And I'm just going to pick up just on the edges with that morning mist. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come down just add a little bit of a highlight. Probably going a little bit too heavy. Yeah, I've probably gone a little bit too heavy on that side. I'll just see if I can try and blend it out just by tapping lightly. And then just pick up a little bit of the buff. Don't want a huge amount. I've gone far too heavy over that side. Just a little bit down there. Just pick up a little bit there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a little bit more of that the darker colour, just to see if I can blend out that white, because I have gone a bit too heavy. Just to kind of break it back up again. There we go. Just kind of breaks it back up. Okay, maybe a little bit more over that side. I probably need to invest in another fan brush, because this one I've had for quite some years. It's probably past its best now. Okay, so let's pick up some more of that buff. A real light colour. There we go, that'll do. I'm not going to go mad with it. And I'll just get that cleaned off. Okay, let's get that dried. Right, so everything is now dry and kind of cleared up. So while that was drying, I decided to dust off, like I do once a year, my Tim Holtz Sizzix Assembly Snowman die. I cut that out using the mixed media cardstock. As you can see, there are all the bits. And I've made him up. And I've coloured him to match the background. So I've given him a purple scarf and a little bit of a purpley red band on his hat. And all I've done is just coloured him using, excuse me, coloured him using Distress inks and the Distress pens. There you go. There's the Dusty Concord that we used, or I used, and I just kind of lightened it a little bit with a Q-tip. So I didn't really see the point in filming, cutting him out and colouring him in, because it's just not exactly the most interesting thing to watch somebody do. So he's going to get stuck down in front of one of those trees there, probably about so. And I've got to bear in mind, I've got to remember that this page is going to get folded in half. So I need a glue stick. So this is one of the Dilutions Diary glue sticks, which I really like using because it's a triangle shape, which means that you can get into corners like so. So I'm just going to go around the back, put a little bit on his hands. There we go. That should be enough to hold him in place. So I'm going to sit him just about there in front of that tree. Cute snowman. It's just a shame we can only really use him at winter. So that's that. And then for my quote, I've printed off on my computer just a quick quote. I've got some distressing vintage photos, which I'm just going to go around the edges. So I've just printed off the quick quote using a purple ink so that it all matches rather than black for the text, and I've just snipped it out with a pair of scissors really quickly. I could have used my label maker to do this, but okay, so we'll just rub some glue down there, and then this will go on the right hand page. Again, I've got to bear in mind that there's going to be a fold in this page. There we go. Chilling with my Snowmy. And I think that is pretty much it for December. Oh, I could. Off the one time of year when I'm going to be forgiven for adding splatters onto the page. Look, and I almost forget to do it. So let's get some of that gesso. Mix up some of that gesso and get some water. Spritz it onto there so we get a nice kind of mix, and then we can add. It's a bit gloopy. Let's just take some of that off. Some big snowflakes on there. Okay, let me just quickly get that dried off and then we'll get it into the journal. Okay, so my snowflakes and splatters are all dry, so I need to put a crease in that journal page. So it's a 9-inch, circle. So I've lined it up with about the 4.5, and then I'm just going to run the creaser up and down, just so I've got a nice crisp line in which to be able to fold my art journal page over in readiness for sticking into my journal for December. So let's have a look to see where the page is that is going to go. So that's November. December's is going to go on here. So that is absolutely perfect. So all I need to do is just grab some glue, just use that glue stick that we have done before. Make sure we get plenty on. And then I can line that up. Get that stuck down into the journal. There we go. And then I can take my prompt sheet. So we've got Winter Wonderland, we've got Frosty Blue, Winter Purple, Silver Bells. So we've got, I haven't got any silver because I've actually not got any silver paint left. It's all gone. And then for the words for inspiration, we've got trees, frost, snow and stars. So I think I've got at least a couple of those, don't you? So mission accomplished for December. So I'll just grab the glue, go around the outside of that half. There we go. And then turn that over. Make sure I get it the right way around. And then I can stick that down onto the back of the page so I know what the inspiration was for that page. And there we have it. There's my, I didn't sign it, did I? I need a pen. Let's have a look. That will do. So we'll go. And today's date is the 5th of December 2020. There we go. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me put that art journal page together. If you have, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible, especially this year. That's all from me for now. I'll see you all again very, very soon. And don't forget, if you want to join in with the Mission Inspiration challenges for next year, pop across to our Facebook group. This is the link on the screen now, but there's also a clickable link in the description area below, and just ask to join. And then you can join in with us in 2021. I'll see you all again very soon. Bye for now.